What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package, and infrastructure update and daily news report. I actually just want to wish you a happy Labor Day. I think it's very interesting that we are celebrating Labor Day on a day when 8 million plus people lost their unemployment benefits. So we're going to address that later on in this video, but let's get into the update. Because this week, according to experts, we're going to have a lot of new proposals. We're going to have a lot of new ideas. We're going to have stuff from lawmakers that we haven't seen before. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully we get more for the American people. Here's what we know. In the upcoming $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, the IRS, they are planning on getting a decent amount of money, $40 to $80 billion. This is going to be going towards hiring new staff so that they can go after tax cheats. They can get caught up with your IRS tax refunds. If you haven't received your IRS tax refund check this year, please let me know down in the comment section below when you filed and if you've heard anything from the IRS so far. Most people have not. Most people are still waiting, wondering when it's coming, and it's turning into a huge issue. But according to many reports, this would be good news if the IRS received additional funding, especially in a time like this. However, experts say that the only reason this is good news is because it's going to increase revenue. The problem is, the IRS and multiple experts have said this in the past, that when it comes to going after tax cheats, the IRS goes after the lower income and middle class. That's who they go after because they say it's easier to audit people that don't have a bunch of assets, do not have a bunch of income coming in, and it's just easier if they don't have stocks and investments and things like that. So, this isn't great. This isn't great news because many people like you and I could be getting audited simply because we don't have very complicated tax returns. And that's not great news. Now, the other thing that they are discussing when it comes to this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, not just how they're going to pay for it, but what is the overall amount. According to multiple senators, and this is including Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, but there's others as well, they're actually opposed to the actual amount, the $3.5 trillion price tag, because they say it's too high. They say it's too high in conjunction with the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. But again, that $1.2 trillion bill, that's a bipartisan bill. It's purely infrastructure, roads, bridges, railways, waterways, things like that. However, the $3.5 trillion bill is human infrastructure. This is free community college, child care, elder care. There's additional stimulus for families and children, right? This is included in here. There's Medicare. This is the human infrastructure bill, and they say, according to Senator Bernie Sanders, that if there's no $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, then there is no infrastructure bill whatsoever. But let's get into the news on unemployment. Many states and employers, they're actually looking forward to what is to come. And it all starts today, and I said this yesterday. They want to see what life is like after the $300 per week boost ends. That ended yesterday. Now, although millions of people are going to be hurting because they don't have any immediate income, many experts are saying this is a good thing. When you put pressure behind somebody, it will help them make decisions faster. It would push them to make a better decision. I don't know if that's 100% true, that they would make a better decision, but they'd make an impromptu decision and it would happen quickly. When you look at the states that canceled their benefits early, there's one state that stands out. It seems like all reports are using that one state as the example. However, and that's the state of Utah. Some experts say we can use Utah as an example, but others say that Utah is the exemption. Okay? Utah they have an unemployment rate of just 2.6%. That's pretty good. It's the second lowest in the United States. Their employment grew in almost every industry over the past 3 or 4 months. That's great. And they're leading by example. But experts are still worried if other states are going to be able to turn this around. Some are worried that no, they won't. But here's where things get very interesting. According to multiple research groups, they say that the unemployed may get more money in the short term because of having state benefits and that $300 per week boost. But what happens is, after about 6 months, according to research, they say that the unemployed will actually take home less than 15%. Okay, 15% less from their new job after they come off unemployment. So in the long term, they're going to be making less money. Well, many people have actually been unemployed for over 1 year. Yeah, they've been unemployed for over 1 year, meaning a lot of their skills have atrophied. A lot of the things that they once knew, they forgot. Many people are going to have a tough time just getting back into the workforce simply because they've been out of it for so long. They are struggling with other things which could take priority over working, right? Health could be a major factor. Anxiety, a lot of these things, depression, these are things that many people are going to have to try to focus on and figure out. But according to reports, President Biden is going to make it a promise. He is promising that he is going to use this time to transition. He wants to transition away from the Afghanistan situation. Okay? And not necessarily forget about it, but transition away from it. We're not there. Let's move on. But he wants to focus more on infrastructure and the economic rebuild that we were going through. He says that he understands that people are going to oppose his campaign promises, but he says the American people deserve better. We deserve better. But what does this mean? Does this mean we're going to get an additional stimulus check? I don't know. Does this mean we will guaranteed get the child tax credit extended? We don't know. They're pushing for it, but we don't know. We do know almost 100 lawmakers have pushed for another stimulus check, a fourth stimulus check. But at this time, there's more support for just infrastructure and the human infrastructure aspects as opposed to stimulus. But we've also heard reports that they are just waiting. When I say they, I mean progressives are waiting before they introduce a new proposal for that fourth stimulus check. And that could come any day. According to experts, they say we could be seeing new proposals coming in the next few days. In the next few days. This week. Because keep in mind, okay, today is the 6th. So we are 9 days away. Next Wednesday is the day that the House wants to have all of the legislation done and submitted for the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. That's in 9 days. Many of these groups are still putting this together. And then they got to debate this. Then they got to, go and do this vote-a-rama, and I'm not getting into the details of it, but it's a whole big thing. So we are going to see more proposals. We're going to see more updates, and they're expecting it's going to happen this week. This is the week, because if they wait till next week, it's going to be too late. A lot of the groups are going to have their stuff finalized by this weekend. But again, we will see. Many experts believe that this week we will see multiple proposals simply because waiting for too long is going to mean that other people will have their proposals and ideas submitted. And if this happens, then some of these groups are not going to include them because they're going to be like, well, we're already there. We already hit our number. We can't add more. But we can discuss it. We can pull things out, put new things in. But again, that's going to take a little while. Some experts believe that it's going to take about a month 1 month to debate this, to get through this. It's going to be a huge bill. Now, I said the other day that lawmakers, and these are moderates in the House, they only want 72 hours to read the bill. 72 hours to read through the bill before they're asked to vote on it. However, in the Senate, things are going to be very different. In the Senate, they will most likely have a lot more time, and they will use all the time that they have in order to read this bill. Keep in mind, we could see additional proposals for, well, a handful of things, but stimulus checks are going to be one. According to experts, we will see a proposal for a stimulus check. Whether it's included or not, we don't know. We will see the extension of the child tax credit payments. We already know that's going to be included. However, will it be pulled out? We don't know. We will possibly see an adult tax credit included in here as well. However, some say this could be pulled out because this is supposed to be the American Families Plan for families, for children, not just individuals and adults. So we will see what happens there. One thing I do want to address regarding the fourth stimulus check is we're getting a lot of new reports from the IRS saying that people are getting scammed out of money. First off, I just want to reiterate there is no stimulus check at this time. There's no check. There's nothing. Congress is on recess. They're not voting on a stimulus check. There's no check coming from President Biden and the IRS. That's never been passed, or at least not yet. So the IRS is saying when people call you telling you they can expedite your fourth stimulus check, don't give them a bank account. Don't pay their expediting fee. It's usually like $50 or $100 or something like that. Don't pay that. There's no reason to pay that because there's no check. They're trying to scam you out of money. So keep that in mind. There's multiple scams going around right now. Just want to warn you, these are scams. There's no stimulus check. The IRS will never call you. They're never going to ask you for a bank account number over the phone. They're not going to do this. Okay? They are not going to call you. Do not get scammed out of money. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci the other day, he says that the Pfizer booster shot will likely be ready by September 20th. That's in just 2 weeks. He also states Moderna would most likely take a little bit longer because they're still going through the process. The Biden administration is hoping that they can get this done as quickly as possible, and Americans will be open to the idea of a booster shot immediately. That is the goal. If the booster shot is approved, but yet Americans don't go and get it, it does us absolutely no good. So the issue is you have to wait between 6 to 8 months. So we don't know for sure what the date is going to be. According to Dr. Anthony Fauci, it's going to be 8 months. That 8 months from the last shot that you got, you can go and get the booster shot. However, the Biden administration is wanting it to be anywhere between 5 and 6 months in order to up it a little bit. And the reason for this is because according to reports, we know that after a few months, it will begin to wear off and their efficacy rate will actually drop. Not significantly, but it will slowly decrease. This is why the Biden administration is pushing to get this approved for between 5 and 6 months after your second dose. According to Dr. Anthony Fauci, he also says there are ways to protect children that are under the age of 12 just yet. And he says, and I quote, the way you protect children who, because of their age, cannot get vaccinated yet is to surround the children, be it friends, family, school teachers, personnel in the school, surround the children with people. That is his recommendation, is if you want your children to be safe, keep them around vaccinated people. So that's what we know right now. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching.